You are listening to Beyond the Verse, a Star Citizen podcast. A show dedicated to Cloud Imperium Games, Star Citizen, and Squadron 42. Whether you fight, explore, unite, and/or trade, we bring you news, updates, interviews, reviews, and analysis. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a pour of Radagast, and join us as we go Beyond the Verse.
Launch sequence activated.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Beyond the Verse, Star Citizen podcast. I'm your host, Sulyce, and this is episode 104, Invictus Launch Week, the Greycat MTC, the Idris. Oh yeah, and 411 also dropped. There is so much content this week that getting ready for this podcast was quite the endeavor. All right, so we have so much news to get through, so much drops. We're going to discuss the flight blades. We're going to go through all the drama, all of the contentious conversations, but no worries. At the very end, we will do our third installment of our lore series for Invictus Launch Week, and we'll end on a very positive high note. So this is going to be an up and down episode, not like in a negative way. Don't skip this episode. Like, it's nothing weird like that. There's just so much to get through, number one, but then number two, there's a lot of debate that is happening, from capital ships to their functionality, to the ability to fly them by yourself, to what does flight blades actually do to change your ship, your frame. So let's just get into it. Let's just get into it. I hope this finds everybody well. 411 dropped several days ago. I don't remember which day exactly. It was right after we recorded on Friday. Actually, 411 dropped a couple of days ago before Invictus Launch Week. It was like earlier this week, to be very transparent with you. But that kind of pales in comparison to Invictus coming, right? There was all this Idris hype, and you've heard this podcast a couple episodes ago up to this episode. There's all this hype about Idris. Is it coming? There's so many hints, so many indicators that we were going to be getting the Idris. And then the day before Invictus, on Wednesday, the behind the ships was Idris, and blew everybody's minds. Everybody's super excited. The commercial came out. So we're going to watch all of it. This is going to be a very fun and engaged episode of Beyond the Verse. Okay. I have woven our community updates through the podcast, so I'm not going to have like a dedicated space for this, but yes, commercials are back in Spotify. Hear me out. It's one at the beginning of each episode. It's 30 seconds long. I think y'all know, I think I told y'all this, but I LLC'd. This is officially a small business now. Beyond the Verse is a small business. Can't get that out of my mouth. Good Lord. But my vision and my intent for where we're going, we're talking potential physicalized stores with a gaming experience. I think like a gaming cafe, but also podcast studios that we can rent out to creators around the Austin area. There's so many different things that I want to pursue. And some of that is proving to the bank, proving to loans and investors that we have a good, diverse revenue stream. They're going to want to see advertisements as part of that revenue stream. So bear with me. It's only going to be that one commercial at the beginning of each episode, right after the intro song, right before I start talking, and then it's done. The rest of the show is free. So I hope that's okay. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. It's not a money grab. Again, I don't care necessarily about money. I have plenty coming through with Amazon. I'm fine. I'm blessed in that way. But if I'm trying to grow my own business, I do need to prove that we have different and diverse revenue streams. So, all right, let's actually get into the segments here. So here we go.
Incoming message.
Why, thank you. I didn't know that I had messages up in front of me right now. Episode 103 last week, we did cover the preview of Invictus Launch Week, the 411 updates, but as always, we asked a poll. We asked the comment section. And here are the results. So here we go. Sharing my screen for those of you on video. Wow, I just sounded British. What's your favorite part of Invictus Launch Week? And so I asked rentable ships, showroom floor, new ship reveals, the lore, military elements, or seasonal merch and items. You can see the results on my screen. No one gives a damn about the seasonal merch and items. Roger that. But 56.3 of you are into the new ship reveals, which obviously I think that was a pretty easy poll. But new ship reveals, and then 18.8% said the rentable ships, and then 12.5% said the showroom floor, and another 12.5% said the lore and the military elements. To the comment section. Okay, we are going to get through this quickly. There are 9 comments, but look at the top of my screen. Do you see all of these tabs? We're going to move quickly. So bear with me here. Corrupted data. I won't say corrupted data. We talked about this as a data. Y'all tell me. I'm pretty damn sure it's data. Anyways, I want that tiger armor that was on display at Invictus. So I have not seen yet in the game. I have not seen the armor, but there are packages we will get into at some point in this podcast. There are game packages, kind of like they did for 4.1, where you can buy it's like a livery for, I think a Vanguard. It's a livery for a Vanguard. It's a paint for your rifle or one of the rifles. And then there is armor that you can get as well. So we're going to look at that here in a couple of seconds. So I think you can still get it. Corrupted data. Mike Gilkey writes, Ron Burgundy will read anything that is put on the teleprompter, and when I say anything, I mean anything. Love the show. Thank you so much. I absolutely love Anchorman. If you haven't seen Anchorman, and even the sequel's halfway decent, go watch both. Anna writes, yes, soon trademark. Business analysis soon trademark. Maybe he is secretly Chris Roberts. Probably has to do with my my post last week. Not post, but I always share the status of the show, and under Blue Sky, I say the business analysis soon because I don't know, at some point it needs to mature. I love using it. I'm still on X primarily. I love using Blue Sky or Blue Ski. I don't know. Blue Sky. I don't even know how to say it, but there's so many gaps and there's so many issues with Blue Sky. To include the ability to see how your outreach is, how your audience is doing, your demographics. None of that's available. All right. Garth Andrew writes, happy anniversary. Thank you. My wife and I's 16th anniversary on May 9th. So thank you so much. Warbreak 3R writes, I'm excited for MTC. I think it will be a fun ground option. Plan on running it in my TAC. I would love to hear your thoughts now that it's out and flyable. Well, drivable. I personally bought 3. I bought 1 for myself, and I'll be giving away 2 to the community. So stand by for that. Yes, I'll leave it there. I can't say your name. Lowenkreiger HD. I apologize. They write, finding one EU leader is complicated because we love and hate each other over here. So better make generals for different countries. This goes to Soul Provision, our in-game organization, where I said right now it's an NA endeavor, or US, North America. We invite Canada to come with us. So we have an NA endeavor, but we're going to hold off on making it global until org tools and things like that start to mature. And so they're referencing that comment. It's a funny one. I can't agree or disagree with you, or I'll get canceled by an entire, part of the world. So I'll let your feedback kind of rest in the podcast and see how everybody reacts to it. Floof Knight writes, I can't believe I finished the episode minutes before the reveal. Fantastic timing. So this individual listened to episode 103 and the Idris came out right afterwards. That was perfect timing. I agree with you. And then our beloved Groza says, Dear Sulyce, told you so. You got to believe, baby. The giveaway queen. Yeah, man. So it's funny. My brand has historically, right? If you look at 103 episodes, historically, I err on the side of optimism, right? I wanted Squadron 42 to come out in 2024 because of the 4-2 switch it around. It's 24. I wanted Squadron 42 to come out. I pushed that really hard. I pushed the Idris, I think, last year as well. I thought the Idris was going to come out early. So I've always had this history of being like an optimist. I've even been blamed to be a white knight for CIG. So again, err on the side of positivity and optimism. And for like the first time ever, I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like the Idris is coming. I think this is going to be the one promise. And again, you've heard me say, like, this is the one promise CIG for some reason wanted to stick to. They wanted to stick to their guns and say, you know what, Idris, not until Squadron 42. And so I went hard in that direction, right? I was like, you know what, all these hints, all these things that might be happening for Invictus, I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't see how it can possibly, happen. And here you go, right? The one time I'm wrong. Well, one of the few times that I'm wrong. At least it's a benefit to the community. And hey, I'm glad to be wrong in this situation. So we will take it, or I will take it. All right. Cool. Staying with community updates. So 411 did drop. I'm going to go and share my screen. Why is this here? 411 did drop, and it was May 13th, what was May 13th? Tuesday. So on Tuesday, 411 dropped, and I asked the question on Twitter, 411 goes live tonight. How are you entering 411? This was a complete humorous joke. It was a joke. I put bare ass naked and terrified, fully geared and emotionally unstable, stripped, lubed, ready to lose it all, watching the carnage unfold. So I was kind of playing into the, we were first told to go into the new patch naked so you didn't lose any items. And then they come out and say, we fixed it on the back end. You don't need to worry about that. So we still had issues. I have a lot of people who lost components, who lost ships. I have friends that went in and played the hell out of contested zones and got some pretty badass ships, and they no longer have those ships anymore, right? These are big issues in my opinion. I actually came out of the launch with more gear. I had 2950, 2948, 2950 gear, like merch clothing. I didn't even play the game back then. So I added gear, and I had friends who lost everything or lost most of their new stuff. So the poll was a joke, but now it feels a little wrong to have asked that because there are so many issues with the long-term persistence LTP, right? I don't know. They got to figure that out. They also need to figure out how they're going to get like those ships back in the hands of the players. Right. Because again, those friends that I'm mentioning have spent hours, 50, 60 hours in contested zones and have it all stripped away. Right. Like I feel awful about that, quite honestly. All right. We have another poll. The Idris obviously came out, or it was coming out. Idris, you've heard the news, this Invictus launch week, the Idris Peacekeeper, and it's actually the Peacekeeper and the military variant, will be available to owners. Time for an Idris roll call for current owners. Which one do you own? If you have both the M and the P, choose the P so we know, you'll be flying tomorrow. All right. 830 views, 129 votes. I did throw in a funny joke there. I put the M, the P plus the aftermarket kit in the Idris Elba. I don't know. I thought it was funny, and I think a lot of you did too, because 48.8% of you voted for the Idris Elba. So that actually won. Taking that funny response out, 37.2% say the P plus the aftermarket kit, which at the time we were only aware of the K kit. So it puts a chin turret, a laser beam at the chin of the Idris P. I think I never knew about the T kit, right? There's a T kit now, which I got, and I'll talk to you a little bit about it here in a second. But then the P was 8.5%, the M was 5.4%. And so there's your breakout. So All right, let's just actually talk about it right now. I'm fine with that. So we didn't know about the T kit. T is in Tango. So it's their torpedo kit. It converts a lot of the lasers into massive torpedoes. If I'm not mistaken, it's like 20 size 12 torpedoes. It's ridiculous. It is a ridiculous amount of torpedoes. So I ended up having, so when I told you all I bought both, like Soul Provision last night during the org night, when I told you all I bought both, the K kit and the T kit, I really didn't spend any money. The K kit I bought years ago with my Idris P, and then the T kit, I had store credit. I had like over $1,100 in store credit, and that ended up becoming, I used 420 of it on the T kit. But for me, it's like if you're going to invest in a 4-digit capital ship, you might as well get the most out of it. So I needed, quote unquote, I needed all the additional market kits to feel like I really invested in the right ship. But then I did the math and I'm like, okay, $1,700 ship, a $420 T kit, a $300 and some odd dollar, K kit. That's a pretty expensive investment. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there before I start crying. Okay. All right. We have, actually I have one more thing. So Org Night last night, let's talk about Org Night. And again, you don't need to be part of Soul Provision to enjoy this segment. Just wanted to share with y'all. So we did our annual Invictus Launch Week Org Night, where it's just cool, calm. It's not cool, calm, and collected. Actually, it was chaos in a good way. But it's our casual social outing, right? Where we go to the showroom floor, we walk it, we look at the ships, tour the ships for like the first hour, and then the second hour we do whatever is additionally launched with Invictus Launch Week. So if there's a tour of the Javelin or a tour of the Idris, like we would do it in that moment. But the Idris dropped, so we completely ignored the Idris experience, and instead we took our own Idrises out and explored our own. So here's the cool thing, right? I don't know how big your org is, but Soul Provision is about 300 strong with about 100 active. So out of that group, we have around, I think, 8 or 9 Idrises, and 5 of those Idrises showed up last night. So almost 30. I think we capped out at 28, but let's just say almost 30 of us came together last night. It was fun. The fellowship, the social aspect of Star Citizen was at full frontal. was at full force. It was a lot. It was a lot of fun. I'll leave it there. It was a lot of fun. It's very much a breath of fresh air when you're going, very aggressive on content, when you're going on contested zones and the Hather mining missions. It's nice to have a week where you just like, you know what? Let's just be in the verse. Let's just talk, get to know each other, have a good time. And so we did that. But the second half of last night, we took out 5 Idrises. The screenshots are amazing. We had all the kits. We had all the paints. We had the ability to take really awesome screenshots, like out in space around asteroid fields. And then in the last couple of minutes, we were like, hey, let's use the damn things. So we pursued the Polaris, never saw the hunt for the Polaris. But then we did one of the ghillie mission, like the training missions or whatever, where there was a Polaris there, and we ended up having a really good time taking out the Polaris. And that was the end of the night. So almost perfect night. Not a lot of issues. I was glitched out of one of the elevators. So typical elevator issues in Star Citizen. But for the most part, it was a flawless night. So I had a good time with it. I hope y'all are having a great time with Invictus Launch Week. But with all of that being said, let's get into This Week in Star Citizen. Okay, here we go. Hello, everyone. Last week brought a wave of updates. We launched a fresh roadmap update, adding 15 new and revised cards to the release view, along with 5 new entries in the progress tracker, offering a preview of what's next. The April monthly report also dropped, packed with valuable insights straight from our development teams. On the video front, a new 15-minute episode of Inside Star Citizen aired, spotlighting the standout features of Alpha 411. And to top it all off, our latest patch watch took a closer look at upcoming fixes and improvements that may not be listed on the public roadmap but are definitely worth your radar. In January, we relaunched the bi-monthly Squadron 42 newsletter with exclusive content and behind-the-scenes information throughout. And on Thursday of this week, we'll be opening that content to all citizens. It's your chance to see what you may have been missing and sign up before the next release goes exclusively to subscribers at the end of this month. We wrapped up last week with 2 incredible bar citizen events, one in Beijing, China, and the other in Madrid, Spain. Beijing's gathering was massive, welcoming nearly 600 attendees and featuring highlights like a live orchestra performing the Star Citizen Squadron 42 soundtrack, a clay ship sculpting competition, a community art gallery, and much more. Meanwhile, Madrid brought its own unforgettable energy with an enthusiastic crowd joining the team for lively discussion about ships and the universe we're building together. These events continue to show just how passionate and global our community truly is. Next up, Germany. We can't wait to see you at Con 42 this weekend for the next stop on the Bar Citizen Tour 2025. All right, what's going on this week? Okay. So the bullet points, you're seeing on the screen, but the bullet points was the Invictus Launch Week FAQ came out on Monday. We had a Behind the Ships on YouTube on Monday, the manufacturer schedule on Tuesday, the Behind the Ships, another Behind the Ships on Thursday, Invictus Launch Week Day 1, Fleet Week Free Fly event. Now on Friday, we had the Invictus Launch Week Day 2, which is today. It's a continuation of Aegis and Greycat. We're going to have a Q&A for the Invictus Ship Talk on YouTube and the RSI Weekly Newsletter. Let's talk Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, the Invictus Launch Week Day 3, we're going to switch over to RSI, Origin, and Argo. Then we have the Bar Citizen World Tour 2025 and Con 42. And then Sunday, again, a continuation. It's Invictus Launch Week Day 4. It's still RSI, Origin, and Argo. So an extremely busy week. So we're going to get through all of that and more in the next couple of minutes. So hang with me. We got some low-hanging fruit news to get through, some CitizenCon direct updates, RSI launcher to download. We're going to go through Invictus, go through the Idris, go through the Greycat, and then, like I said, we will end on the lore drop, or the third installment of the Invictus Launch Week lore. Cool. Let's go. Oh man, so much to get through. CitizenCon Direct Watch Party submissions are now open. So we know that on October 11th, we will have CitizenCon Direct. It's not in person, it's going to be virtual. And I think they said it's like a 2-hour digital showcase. So a little bit of the debate or contention is like, okay, you go from a 2 to 3 day event in Los Angeles 2 years ago. You had Manchester last year, massive event, multi-day. And now it's like just a long inside Star Citizen or a Star Citizen Live. It's just such a downer. Now, that's not to say that the content and the experience is going to be lackluster. It could be a very, very jam-packed 2-hour event, especially with Squadron 42 coming out next year. I can imagine that this around 2-hour event is going to be crazy. All right, so if you're going to host a watch party, this is how you do it. And if you do it, there's like some support. Some individuals will come out from CIG and they'll not officially support. I guess you could say officially support, but they will have they'll have support in one way, shape, or form on this event. Now, breaking news. In Austin, Texas, I am working with the Astro Pub. So Paul Shelley over at the Astro Pub. I'm working with him and the Texas Bar Citizens for, I'm going to say, a potential, like a very, very highly potential Central Texas or Austin, Texas watch party. It's going to be huge. 500 to 1,000 individuals. We're going to push it. We're going to try to bring as many people as possible, but we need your help. Look at me. Those of you on video, or if you're listening, listen hard. I need y'all to go to our website, beyondtheversehq.com. At the very top will be an announcement bar, and it'll say, click here to say that you're coming, or to say that you would come. We are trying to gauge the interest so we know where to start looking at venues and how to start planning this massive event, right? So we're thinking a full day worth of events, but we really can't get the creative juices flowing until we know, is it 100 people or is it 1,000 people? Because those are two very, very different proposals, right? So do me a favor, www.beyondtheversehq.com. At the very, very top, the announcement bar, click on that link there, take the vote. If you're 50 to 75% sure that you would come, do it. If you're like 50% or lower, don't inflate the numbers because that could hurt us as well. So please help us. I think that would be amazing. Thank you so much. All right. So there we go. CitizenCon Direct. It's going to be a lot of fun. It'd be really great for me and Paul to co-host or to help host in some way, shape, or form. Our community is going to be there. His community is going to be there. Come along. All right. I'll keep updating throughout the next several weeks and months. Okay. Very, very low hanging fruit. The RSI Launcher 2.3.2 is out for you to download. And the reason why I always share this is because it takes your physical action. Like you have to actually go and do this. It's not going to automatically update for you. So come to the announcements, the Spectrum announcements, and click on the link that says RSI Launcher 2.3.2 release notes. And then that first link right here, guys, this first link that says, it's the .exe, the executable file. You're going to click that, launch it, and run it. Okay. And that will help remove a lot of these errors. So the updated error handling, by the way, if you ever wanted to know what error code 30K means or 5021, here are the definitions. So they're always somewhere. They're always somewhere. You just have to like look through the notes to find out what you're looking for. But every time there's like a 50K, they're like, what the hell is a 50K? Well, it's a disk full error report, if that means anything to anybody. All right, guys, we're here. Invictus Launch Week. We are here. For the majority of the rest of the podcast, I'm going to be sharing my screen. So I'm just going to share my screen, let it sit there, and we're just going to talk. We're going to have a good old talk. So grab a drink. I don't know. It's 5:35 in the morning on Friday. I'm not going to drink anything alcoholic yet, but I've got a shitload of water. We're going to get through this together. Speaking of which, good water. You guys, I've got a camping trip tomorrow morning, like all day Saturday and Sunday morning. And it's been like 105 in Texas. I think I'm going to instantly regret scheduling a camping trip in this heat. So here we go. It's not the Middle East anymore. I don't need to be sweating outside. Okay, here we go. Let's go through this. So much. So this is the main landing page for Invictus Launch Week. I don't think we need to go through line by line on this page necessarily, because we've been talking about this for several weeks now up to this point. But here's your play for free, right? If this is your first time ever getting into the game, you can fly and play the game for free. And then I've got a referral code that I put on the notes of all my shows. If you wanted a free ship, that is yours forever with lifetime insurance. It's the Merlin. Merlin? I think it's the P-52 Merlin, if I'm not mistaken, but we will address that here in a couple of seconds. But it's yours for free. Keep it forever. It's not a bad idea. Right, but creating your account, downloading the launcher, download the Star Citizen now here. This is, again, just high level. What is Invictus Launch Week? Here is how to get to Invictus Launch Week and the shuttle services and what that looks like. Again, on my social media and TikToks, I've put the video on how to get to each one. So the showroom floor and the Idris experience. So if you don't want to just look at, a static screen, go watch our videos. It's right there for you. Real quick, there are discounted starter packs. So you've got a Seeker Invictus starter pack that looks like the Pisces in the background with a nice paint job. It's going to bring some gear with you as well. So let's look at the info. Yeah, it's the C8. It's the C8X Pisces Expedition, but it also includes a lot, actually. It includes the digital download, 40,000 UEC, 120-month insurance, the AeroView hanger, but you've got the Orc Mark X Singularity gear. And then you've got the Clash gear, Clash arms, Clash legs, and the Makarnda undersuit. So pretty cool. That's $51. Not bad, but I would do this next one for just an additional $10. There's the Duelist Invictus starter pack. That's going to give you the Titan in the background. And the Titan is a phenomenal starter ship. I don't think it's the best starter ship, but I think it's a really good option. I don't know. I'm a Nomad fan. I think the Nomad is a phenomenal ship to start things off with as an actual starter, but then upgrade to the Cutlass Black immediately and then go from the Cutlass Black. Anyways, there you go. So pretty cool. So here's to the comments of last week's episode. Here's your patch bundles I was talking about. Here is your striped, maybe like leopard print. I don't know. It's your camouflaged or striped or detailed armor, but it's also going to give you a matching livery for the Vanguard. So it's called the True Valor Patch Bundle, the Claude Steel Patch Bundle, and the New Dawn Patch Bundle. So as you can see on the screen, it's flickering through what the different colors are. I'm not like an orange fan, so I would probably never personally choose the New Dawn. The Claude Steel is more my kind of flavor. It's more military, it's more camouflage, whatever. So I don't know, it's kind of boring because it's what I always choose. But if you wanted a little bit of flair, a little bit of different design, different color, True Valors are pretty awesome. It kind of combines the two. It combines like the Claude Steel and the New Dawn. So it gives you this base color with a little bit of like orange highlights. So let's just take a look at the Claude Steel one. So it is the Vanguard. It gives you, again, kind of a matching paint to your gear. But it also gives you the Quartz Claude Steel Energy SMG submachine gun, and then the gear. So the DCP Armored Claude Steel helmet and the DCP Armored Claude Steel core. And each one of these is the same. It's the same gear, just different paint job. And each one of these is $30. So there you go. This landing page, again, is for like the announcements, the news, not new stuff. It's the typical launch announcement for Invictus Launch Week. But wait, there's more. All right, here is the actual 2955 schedule. Now, up to this point, that the days, like that schedule has been released. So what manufacturers on what day. This is the actual specific ship schedule. So if you really wanted to fly the Aegis Eclipse, this will tell you specifically it will be available to fly. Let's say you wanted to fly the Origin 890 jump. Is it going to fly this Invictus Launch Week? Well, here's how you would find out. The answer is no, because it's not a military vessel. But if you wanted to know if you could rent it and fly it for free, this is the page to do so. I'm not going to go through all 150 ships or whatever, but I will say something interesting here. So again, the first days, the 1 and 2, you have Aegis Dynamics and Greycat. You can go through here. It's going to tell you everything that you can fly. The Idris is not rentable. It's not. You can't rent the Idris. Now, what they did say is that the weeks after Invictus Launch Week, then subscribers will be able to fly the Idris and for like a week. And that I'm going to avoid the game for that week. I'm probably going to schedule some travel for work. I'm going to try to stay away because I do not want to be in a server of 600 Idrises. I can imagine the screenshots. I can imagine how awesome that will look, but my God, the servers are going to be on fire. So the week after Invictus Launch Week, every subscriber is going to have access to the Idris. Good God. Okay. What I will say is for RSI, the Polaris is not here. That's a military vessel. It's not a limited hull ship. It's not new. I mean, it's newish, but it's been out for a while now. There's newer ships on here, like the Greycat MTC, right? There are newer ships on here, but the Polaris is not. And I haven't really gotten a good answer why it's not. I've gotten a lot of people respond with, well, that's the lore, right? Because people came and stole, the Frontier fighters came and they stole a Polaris to take back to Pyro, or the Headhunters, I don't know, one of them. One of the non-citizens of First Prosperity. But they stole the Polaris and they're taking it away from Invictus. Oh, okay, that's cute. That's fine. It doesn't make sense marketing-wise, that you would not make one of the more expensive, larger ships available to fly for free in Invictus Launch Week. Like if I'm if I'm a gamer and I'm sitting on $1,000 and I'm like, you know what? I budgeted this. It took me 12 months, an entire year. I've got this sitting around. Invictus Launch Week is when I want to pull that money. I want to pull that trigger. But I want to like get in and I want to try the Polaris first. I want to try it before I buy it. Well, you can't. It doesn't make sense to me. Like why would you omit an opportunity for the gamer to get familiar with a 700, 800, however expensive it was, dollar ship, even with the lore of somebody coming and stealing it. You don't have to have it on the showroom floor. Maybe write that into the lore. The showroom floor Polaris was stolen. Okay, that works. That checks out. But not being able to rent it, I don't know. I don't have a good answer, and I've asked, and I haven't gotten one response yet. At least a response that I think is credible and makes sense. So, all right, come here. It is on the comms. All right, it's a comms link if you are curious about which ships are rentable. Moving on. Let's keep going. All right, stock limited ships, just like every IAE and Invictus Launch Week and really any event. If there's a limited hull ship, there comes a schedule. So here is the schedule of stock limited ships. They include the Idris P, the Javelin, the Constellation Phoenix, the Drake Kraken, and the Drake Kraken Privateer. Thank God I have all of these. That's not a weird flex. I hate the F5 war. I'm done with it. I'm done with having to fight. It's not with the community, but like fight in that moment to get my ship. I'm done. I don't need to do it anymore. Thank heavens. So if one of those ships, I think it's too late for the Idris. That's not true. Depending on when you listen to this, the Idris might have a more availability. I think they said something about it being, six opportunities. Yeah, there's now 6. Look at this, guys. There's now 6. So we'll talk about this as I get to it. So it's no longer like 3 waves. It was originally this right here, guys, what I'm highlighting. It was originally 11 a.m. Central, 7 p.m. Central, and the next day 3 a.m. Central. But because they dropped the Idris P, there is now 6 days. So you got wave 1 through wave 6 right here. Okay. And it just repeats. So you've got, I'll stick with Central. You've got 11 a.m. Central, 7 p.m. Central, the next day, 3 a.m. Central, copy and paste. That same schedule again to try to get the Idris. So you have 3 more chances, guys. 3 more chances to get the Idris P. But what else are you looking at? Are you trying to get yourself a Javelin as well? That might be over. I think this might just be for the Idris. But you got the RS. Ooh, hold on. I want to read this. I think that might be just for the Chairman's Club. Hold on. The wait is over. The legendary Idris P is taking to the skies. To celebrate this long-anticipated capital ship becoming flyable, we're extending with additional waves. A limited number of Idris frigates are available to Chairman Club members only and are restricted to 1 per account. Stock will be available in a total of 6 waves to cover as many global time zones as possible. A limited number of Idris frigates are available to Chairman's Club members only and are restricted to 1 per account. It has been such a long time since I've not been a Chairman Club or concierge member. I don't remember if the stock limited ships like the Idris are available to non-Chairman Club members. So I actually don't know if this is saying that the additional 3 waves are for Chairman Club only to attempt to get. I don't read it that way necessarily, or if that's just always the case. If even in wave 1 you had to be a concierge member in order to. I have questions. I owe y'all an answer. I'm going to ask. I love when that happens. Like I plan this podcast, I do a lot of work, and then I have an epiphany right in the middle of an article. I'm like, damn it. But I do. I owe y'all a response. I'll get back to y'all on that. All right, let's keep going. What's new? What is new in Invictus Launch Week? Like a shitload. All right, next article. I'm kidding. Oh, my Lord. Okay, so we've got UEE training exercises. these are additional missions. We talked about this in the 411 update. These have actually been live for a couple of days now. So we got training exercises. We do have Hunt for the Polaris, and they have beefed up the Polaris. We had, like I said, 5 Idrises last night, and it took us probably a couple minutes, like 3 or 4 minutes, in order to down the Polaris. So that's crazy. We had laser cannons going. We had a Idris M, so we actually had the cannon going. We had the laser beam going. We had my torpedoes going in the Idris T. Which, by the way, there's no such thing. There's no such thing as the Idris K or the Idris T. Those are kits. It's the K kit and it's the T kit. You just have the Idris P's and Papa, or Peacekeeper, and the Idris M for the military variant. Just heads up there. All right, 2 are the Idris. We know that that's the case. Yep. The Invictus Treasure Hunt. Scripts abound. We toured the showroom floor last night in Org Night and never found any one of these, but they evidently have these in the convention hall. If you walk around and try to find one, but Invictus Treasure Hunt scripts. This is also part of the reward that you get from doing the training missions we just talked about. And then you go to Wicklow to trade for other stuff, like to trade for other materials or items in the game. So it's a currency. And here's your Ghillies training school. So Ghillie, they're easy, right? Like I went through the first 3 pretty quickly on Wednesday. Whenever this dropped, it was a Tuesday night or Wednesday when this dropped. I went through all 3. It's fine. Like it's fine. It's going to teach you a little bit. I still think they could do a little better with training new pilots, because there's still a lot to learn, right? It's a very complex game, but it's a move in the right direction. Truly, it's a move in the right direction. They repeat the patch bundles, so we're not going to go through that again. Let's keep moving on. My tabs at the very top are getting smaller. Love it. There are physical merch. As always, there's physical merch. I'm actually wearing last year's Invictus Launch Week t-shirt, so yours truly. And we got new stuff. We got new hats for $30 a piece. We have a new t-shirt for $35. I personally like the one I have on better. Like this is it's a very small logo on the top left, like the left breast logo. It's super small. So I personally like mine better. It's bigger. It's like in your face. So if I scroll to the right, we actually have older versions of the long sleeve shirt. And then here's my Invictus UE Navy shirt with only a few left. So I just think it looks better. I think it's bigger. Logo on the back looks nice. And then if you wanted to spend $100, they have a UEE field jacket. I mean, I have the Zeus jacket behind me on my chair. I think that's enough jacket for me. But here is a UEE field jacket. And I don't think, last time I tried, they only have an extra small and a small. I don't fit in a small, guys. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a little thicker. A little bit more built than a small. All right, keep going. FAQ. We're not going to go through all of it. If you listen to this podcast and you've heard the 2 years we've been covering Invictus Launch Week, you know exactly what this place is. You know what it is. You know its lore. In fact, hang around for a little bit longer, and you will hear the 3rd installment of the lore of Invictus Launch Week. So this is like what it is, why it's here, more information about the free fly, directions on how to get somewhere. So I don't know. We already covered most of this. I'm going to cough real quick. Ow. Okay. Moving on. We have a referral bonus. So again, I'm going to put my referral link on the notes of the YouTube video and on Spotify. But if you want the P-52 Merlin, so I was right. My memory worked out well. If you want the P-52 Merlin, it's a small little snub fighter. It doesn't have a quantum drive, so you can't get to far places, but it'll fit inside of a Constellation Phoenix. It'll obviously fit on anything larger, like a C2, M2, A2. It'll also fit inside, of course, the Idris. So like you can put this thing pretty much anywhere, but it's made for the Constellation Phoenix. So that's what it is. So if you want to use my link, click on it and then create an account, join Star Citizen in this fun time of Invictus Launch Week. And you and I both will get a P-52 Merlin with lifetime insurance. Cool story. All right. Oh my God. Are you guys ready for this? Blades. Blades. Okay. What are blades? Blades make your life easier. Boom. All right. They make your life easier, but there's a difference. And I just want to be very, very clear about this. I had to do my own research. I had to have my own epiphany. We actually had a viewer that helped me with this epiphany. But there's a difference between AI blades and flight blades. So AI blades replaces humans. It's never going to be as good as having a human pilot, but or a human turret operator. But it's this idea that you don't need 80 people to run a javelin, right? It'll decrease the amount. So that's AI blades, artificial intelligence replacing humans for a function on a ship. AI blades. Flight blades is something completely different, right? Flight blades is a modification to your ship. So think about like in real life, you get that chip that controls your vehicle, like your car. You can pull the chip out, which is illegal. Can't do it. It's like the governor switch. You can't do it. Don't do it. You didn't hear it from Beyond the Verse. But you can modify your engine. You can modify your car. This is kind of their way of giving modification to the player. Okay. So let's talk about just face value. If you want to increase the speed, straight line distance or straight line speed of your vehicle, there's a module for that. Or if you want to make it more precision, so have more control while going fast, there's a precision module for that. So you take those modules and you apply them to your ship, and it changes the behaviors of your ship. So it's not artificial intelligence. It's not controlling turrets for you. It is changing the behavior of what is expected to come out of your ship. It's not available in the game. And I think this is where it starts getting contentious. It's not available in the game. You have to pay $30, like $15 to $30 for each individual ship. So if you want to change the behavior on like the Titan, which you see in this photo, you can do so by buying a very specific $15 blade. You can only buy it in the pledge store. Real money. And they also put this badass black and red paint, like livery for your ship, behind that paywall. So the only way to get this beautiful red and black color scheme is if you spend $30 or $15 to $30 on this flight blade. So in comes the debate, like pay to win. So I've heard a lot from pirates, a lot from like piracy people who play in the piracy world, that making a ship extremely fast or faster increases their ability to pirate. It doesn't allow people to get away. So if you have a faster ship and you've made your ship faster than the person that you're pirating, then it gives you like this advantage. However, I don't think it's doing what you think it's doing. It's not like doubling and tripling your speed. It's not making you this unstoppable beast. So for me, I'm right in the middle. I am right in the middle of this debate where you can customize. Like I drive a Jeep Wrangler. That is the world of customization. Like I love customizing the shit out of my Jeep. No two Jeeps should be the same, right? I love it. So there's a part of me that's like, okay, why can that not be the case in 2955? Why would you not be able to modify your vehicle in this way? Now, the pushback to that is it's not available to earn in game. So I think that's the fight, is like, make it free, because I don't want to keep on spending real money on a digital item. So I think that's where that debate comes in for that piece. But then, like I said, I'm in the middle. The other side to that is it does seem like if you have more money, you can get better ships. Whether it is incremental or meaningful, I think that's beside the point. It's if you have money and you're not an 18-year-old who just got out of high school or whatever, right? And having difficulty paying for a $1,700 Idris, buying $30 here and there just to upgrade an already existing ship and not having a means to do so in game for free I think is problematic. So there's a pay to win argument. There's an availability to earn in game for free argument. And there's just a lot going on with this. So I didn't post any opinion. I posted blades, like flight blades, go here, right? And it's almost 6,000 impressions in one day. In one day, almost 6,000 impressions. And the debate that's happening on that thread is very vibrant. So what are your thoughts, guys? What are your thoughts on modification, like behavior modification for your ships? Yeah. So here you go. Here's some examples. I'm not going to go to the pledge store to show you. It's just here they are. So flight blade kits, $12. Let's just keep going through. I'll just scroll through. You can see a lot of the ships. So for instance, here's the Aegis Hammerhead. So for $35, you can change the behavior of your Aegis Hammerhead. Just for example, let's click on it. You've got the PHB flight blade, which is your precision, your TSB flight blade, which is your speed or straight line speed. And here's your awesome night break paint, right? The black and red paint. You're also going to get a shirt and a hat. You get a blue shirt, Invictus hat, and a blue, a blue hat for Invictus and a blue t-shirt for Invictus. All for $30. So yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts. We also have weapon kits, guys. So again, modifying your ship. So changing out the actual components of your ship. So here's your Tumbril Nova, right, for $15. Warbond, $18, in store credit if you wanted to. There's a lot here, but let's just click on one to show you kind of what this does. So it just changes the big turret. So this kit includes size 5 ballistic Gatling for your Nova, a special edition night break paint, and a t-shirt and a hat, right? But you can change out the turret for a Gatling gun. Pretty cool. So think about what I just said, that example for the Nova, and there's a lot of options here. Bomb racks, you can put a bomb rack on a kit. Like, that's interesting. I saw an Aegis Gladius with bombs now. You can drop bombs from a Gladius. That'll be interesting. So this whole page is very contentious. Vehicle modifications. I would love to hear your thoughts on the comment section, YouTube or on Spotify. How do you feel about the direction CIG is going with customizing your gaming experience? Would love to hear it. Okay, well, there's a Spectrum post to come with it. So what are flight blades? In simple terms, flight blades are components that go into your ship's computer ports to adjust its flight behavior in 2 key ways currently. So speed and maneuverability. You heard me say it, done. Which ships can equip flight blades? The Gladius, Avenger, Redeemer, Scorpius, the MPUV series, the Arrow, the Pisces, and the Hammerhead. 8 ships. And I would say none of those are game breaking, in my opinion. Those are not game breaking ships, right? All right, so there's a Q&A here. Can flight blades be destroyed? If you're spending real money on it, you should just be able to get it back. Lifetime insurance, quote unquote. So there's just a lot of questions here. If you want further details or you want to dive deeper into this subject. So I'm going to leave it there. Again, I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear how you respond to this. Let's get into the new ships. I think we're ready to get into the Greycat MTC, and then we will end with the Idris. So here we go. Behind the ships. We're going to watch the behind the ships. I'll talk a little bit about my reactions to it, and then we'll move on to the Idris. So let's just let's get this going. And I think I have to turn my music down real quick. Stand by. There we go.
MTC is a military ground vehicle.
And it edges on the side of high-tech, but it's still that industrial vibe.
It's like a clenched fist, compact, solid, and battle-ready.
It's massive wide body, big tires, and huge bars at the front. Just means that if this thing is driving towards you, you want to get out the way.
It allows you to bring more weapons to help people on the battlefield. You can never have too much firepower, and the MTC allows for that.
It's designed for easy maintenance, yet when you look at it, it looks really put together and refined. One thing that was really important to us is making sure that you guys had access to things without entering the vehicle, so you can do a quick drive-by, pick up and go. So we put some personal storage on the outside, and we have a big cargo rack on the back. And the side door is a new design based on this kind of chassis of vehicle where it has a really low form factor. You'll see when it opens, the door slides along the rail, and that means that when it's fully deployed, it actually sits further back than the tyre, allowing you to fit it in more ships.
The MTC has two size 2 guns on the top. It can be controlled by the pilot, or secondary, it can be controlled by the remote turret seat in the rear. This allows that second player can come in controlling the turret, and then when needs to enter the battlefield, the pilot can then resume control of the turret for backup.
In first look, you see very simple design, but telling a story. It has 3 weapon rack. One of them is between 2 suit lockers for a heavy weapon, others for regular weapons. There is 4 component bay and 2 suit locker.
In the design of the cockpit, I tried to make a balance between something cool and fancy and something strong and aggressive. I think we did it.
The MTC matches similar speeds of, say, the Ursa. But its improved handling characteristics is going to allow it to traverse, say, Daymar a lot better than the rest of the field. It's slightly shorter than the Ursa, and it's also a lot more tanky with it being a military-style vehicle. On the inside, you can carry a lot more weapons. It doesn't carry as many people as the Ursa, but like always, trade-offs.
This vehicle's for people who want to be the hero. Everything's going wrong, they're on a ground mission, and your ground troops need support. Over the horizon, they see this thing just come flying in, huge headlights lighting up the entire field of battle, and you're running towards it, and your enemies are running away from it.
Love it. Good ship, or good vehicle. I bought 3, like I said. I have 1 for myself, and then 2 I'll be giving away to the community. Yeah, I mean, it's if you've if you, I'm trying to be careful with this. If you have the Ursa, or if you've driven the Ursa, it's the same damn thing. It's the same exact feel. You got the turret, hit P on your keyboard, and it detracts your turret. The door on the left side of the ship, the cargo area in the back, and there's only so much you can do with like a ground vehicle to make it different. So I think that's okay. I'm not saying it's a bad critique, but it is a pretty awesome ship, or a pretty awesome vehicle. For me, it's like this is the Jeep. This is the off-roading, like military style, up armored Jeep, in my opinion. I like the cargo availability in the back. I think having that retracting cargo area for those small boxes, it's fine. Delivery missions really aren't a thing anymore. Like, you've got cargo hauling, yes, but the actual delivery missions, I haven't seen them. I'm sure they're being reworked, but they've kind of gone away. So replacing the mule, I think the mule holds 6, 3 on the left, 3 on the right. This is going to hold, I think I saw 4. So it's not really like a cargo vehicle, but you can bring cargo. My point being, it's a good ship option if you don't already have the Ursa. Is that fair? I have Ursas, and I would probably keep the Ursa. I just think this fits in more. It fits in more vehicles. So for any reason I needed to get the same capability as an Ursa, but into a smaller vehicle, there you go. So my 2 cents on the Greycat MTC. Here is the detail page that you can scroll through and read about. The options, capabilities, specifics, or specifications. Here's your tech specs. So where is cargo? Yeah, 4 times. So it's got a space to put 4 boxes, right? The little small 1 SU box. I say small, like aren't those 1 SCU boxes? This is saying it's 0.5 SCU. That 0.5 is probably the personal storage. And then I think the 4 times, I think those are the boxes. I don't know, that doesn't necessarily make sense to me because I thought each box was 1 SCU. And inside of the box, you have micro SCU. So that's your 1,000, 5,000, SCU that you can measure for stuff to put in your box. But I thought those boxes were 1 SCU, which kind of throws this detail off a little bit. Anyways, I digress. All right, paint's available. The Moonstone is the concierge one. So this is what I got. I think it's pretty. I think it's actually really pretty blue. It's like a midnight blue. I think it's really well done. So there you go, guys. What do y'all think? What are your thoughts on the Greycat MTC for right around $50? Right? So Warbond is $45, and then regularly $50. There is a paint pack you can buy as well for $12.80. Each one is $5, but you can get the 4 paint pack for $12.80. Or the 3 paint pack for $9.35. The difference being one's concierge and one's not. Typical pledge store attributes. So again, love to hear your thoughts on the Greycat MTC. There is a Q&A, which while we're here, how many SCU storage does this vehicle have? Yeah, I guess the MTC is capable of carrying 4 times the 0.125 SCU boxes for a total of 0.5 SCU. Again, I could be wrong. I thought it was like 1 SCU box. Was that a square box, right? Cool. Alrighty. We're done with that. Let's get into the actual excitement of Invictus Launch Week. We will forever know Invictus Launch Week 2955 as Idris Day. It was insane. Here we go. Let's watch the video. I'll go on mute, and then we will talk all things Idris. Here we go.
What is the Idris?
It's a big bloody spaceship. The Idris for me was almost like the second stepping stone of 100% belief that we could make this project a reality. We took the concept off Ryan Church many years ago. I think it was one of the first ones that got developed for the game. Huge undertaking across the board. And when I first saw that taking off in that demo with the crew on board, it was a true sort of like, okay, we can do this, we can deliver on the promise that Chris had envisioned, several years before.
The Idris is a frigate used by the UAE Navy, but it was also available to civilians in a sort of wide range of specifications.
It's one of the more sought after ships that people have wanted to use in the universe for just one of the longest times at this point.
It has enough crew and provisions on board to support long duration patrols. It has plenty of armament to defend itself and attack aggressors, and hangars on board for a wide range of ships. There are multiple versions of the Idris, the most popular being the Idris P, the P standing for Peacekeeper. This is the civilianized version of the Idris. It trades some of the prior military assets for increased cargo storage. At its core, it is essentially a flying hangar with all the crew facilities around that.
What it's very good at, though, is killing things.
It starts with a front upper manned turret, which is size 5. This is swappable, which we'll talk about in a bit. Then there are 7 additional size 5 turrets spread across the top and bottom of the ship.
These are perfect for dealing with mid-sized targets and give you fantastic coverage across the whole ship from all the different angles they could approach you from.
Whilst they are lasers by default, you can swap them to a wide variety of other weapons in the game.
But that's not all the firepower that the ship has to offer. It also has 4 remote turrets, which are size 4, which are a little bit better at dealing with more agile fighters.
So at this point in the game, you're looking at having a minimum of 12 people on an Idris P to fully crew just the weapons.
So make sure you've got plenty of friends to tag along.
Obviously, flying a ship this big with this much armament makes yourself a big target, and for that reason, the Idris comes with 11 point defense system hardpoints. These are the exact same point defense system weapons that you've seen on ships like the Polaris and 890 Jump. For those of you lucky enough to have an Idris M, it comes with a number of key differences that improve the Idris P. Primarily, it comes with a size 10 railgun, default equipped on the nose.
Now, anyone that's taken part in any of the Idris missions and been unlucky enough to fly past it just as that shot goes off, you all know how devastating that can be when it hits.
The upper front turret is upgunned to a size 7 turret. The cargo room is replaced by the missile launcher, and it has increased armor over the base Idris P. But it does lose the lower rear man turret for all these other changes, so it's not perfect. For those Idris P owners who want a bit more bite to their Idris and missed out on getting an Idris M, we do offer 2 ways to sort of improve your Idris P. The Idris K kit and the Idris T kit.
This is a kit. It's not a whole Idris.
They are simply Idris Ms or Ps with additional items swapped out in their loadout.
It's parts. I can't... The amount of times...
Because it often gets confused, and it has been over the years.
That I've had to remind people there isn't an Idris K.
There is no such thing as an Idris T variant.
It's an aftermarket kit. Anyway.
The Idris K kit comes with a bunch of new items that can be applied to the Idris. Primarily, there is the size 10 laser beam that goes in place of the railgun.
The beam is one of the first real beam weapons that we've added to the gear. Obviously, you've got the mining laser, but this is an actual weaponized version of it. And if anything gets in its way, it's gonna quickly wish that it hadn't. The next item in the kit is a size 7 manned missile turret, which replaces the front turret of the Idris.
It also comes with 5 additional PDS weapon systems to help fill the additional slots on the P, and a cool black and red paint. The new Idris T kit is a companion to the K kit, and it sort of takes your Idris in a less weapon focus and putting it into more of a torpedo and ordnance focus.
So the first thing is a new nose-mounted weapon. A set of size 12 torpedoes, a total of 20 of them, that fire out of 4 fire ports. Now obviously, that's a lot of torpedoes. And for anyone that watched one of our more recent CitizenCons, here's a message back for Elwyn. Fuck the Polaris.
The views and opinions of Mark Gibson do not represent those of Cloud Imperium Games, Roberts Space Industries, or its subsidiaries. They do represent Jared Huckabee's, though.
The top turret is an alternate size 7 bespoke ballistic cannon turret,
which is going to add some serious firepower.
The last piece is 5 additional PDS systems. These ones fire missiles rather than energy weapons.
In addition to that, this also comes with another unique skin you've never seen before.
If you look at the layout of the ship, including the exterior from the top down, there is no space conserved. It's packed. One of the most impressive spaces on the Idris is the main hangar. This is the center operations. It's where you come and go, where you land your ship.
You've got everything that you need, plenty of space.
You can see space for offboarding cargo. It's got ramps for bringing in and out of equipment. The bridge is quite special.
I like the fact that it's almost a sort of glass house in space, full views all the way around.
You have this sense of importance, like you're commanding the vessel. The corridors, they're like the connective tissue of the ship. They're bold, they have a really distinct profile to them. You've got these white, clean floors that you could imagine some janitor kind of polishing up constantly. It really feels believable. The mess hall is quite municipal, quite utilitarian. It's not the most extravagant space. I just like how tangible it is. The bunks have a very strong nautical, almost submariner type feel to them. Another space I really enjoy is the engine room. It feels like a nuclear reactor. The thing with the ship is everything is functional and military. You get the impression that everything was designed for a purpose and space was at a premium.
The Idris has been a ship people have been waiting for ages, and it means something different to everyone, and how everyone's going to use it is really down to them.
So what's the deal here? I thought we weren't going to release this until Squadron came out.
As Squadron has developed, and the Idris has been in the PU in various guises for quite some time now, it's been quite clear internally that the two versions are very different things now. And it's not going to be a spoiler for Squadron. Now, even after this ship releases, it's still going to evolve further.
We've still got lots in the pipe that we want to bring to the ship for Squadron, and hopefully it will trickle through to you guys in the PU as and when we're ready to release it.
So now we're really excited to release the Idris to the PU, and it's going to make lots of people super happy that it is finally here in the game.
We couldn't do it without the teams across the board. Artists, VFX artists, lighting artists, physics, code, narrative. There's so many departments and people involved in bringing such a beast to life. Yeah, it's a big undertaking, so congrats.
Oh man, the Idris. Yeah, what a phenomenal ship. I obviously at this point, you know, already, like I was able to get in my, it's actually before Invictus Launch Week came out. It was early yesterday morning. So for me, Invictus Launch Week was 11 a.m. I got to fly this around 9 a.m. So we had about 2 hours before ILW came on, and we were flying it, and I was walking through it, and first impressions, it is a beast, and it should be. It's a capital ship, but it is a beast to fly. You are not maneuvering well in this ship. So again, think a massive frigate in real life floating on the ocean, and how slow that thing is to turn in the ocean. That's what you're getting. And I think you should be expecting that. Like that, especially when we go into the Kraken and we go into like the Javelin, expect to be a floating brick. And that you got to be okay with that. If you're not okay with it, the ship's not for you. So you're not going to outmaneuver, but you do have PDCs, like the point defense systems or turrets or PDS. I've heard PDSs, I heard PDCs. You do have a way to defend yourself. But again, this ship is for the purpose of multi-crewing. Like I'm not going to go into my whole Polaris spiel about, you know, soloing a Polaris, but you should not be soloing the Idris P. You might be successful. The turrets and the automation might help you out a little bit, but just getting in and out of your hangar, it's troubling, or it's hard for you to do solo. So you're not going to go, for instance, right? The hangar has a front exit and a back exit. You're not going to go up to those doors and click a magical button and say, and it, you know, it'd be retracted. No, you've got to go to the control room. Like it would be in real life. You have to walk your happy ass to the control room, find the computer desk that has the button to open up the rear turrets and click on it, or the rear, the front and rear doors of the hangar. You click on it, then you got to walk right back out to the hangar, and now you have access to it. So having somebody man that for you is what it would be like in real life. So same thing with the Argo hangar, right? So underneath the hangar, you have an Argo MPUV hangar, like a dedicated hangar. You're not just going to fly solo. You're not going to fly it underneath your Idris and be able to dock it. No, you're going to have to go inside of the Idris, go inside of the Argo hangar, find the little button on the little computer desk, click it, then it's going to open up. Now you got to go back out to the Argo MPUV, fly it up, and then it gets worse. You got to fly it up inside of the hangar. Now you got to get out of the Argo MPUV, go hit the button, that'll close the hangar, get back in your Argo, and land it. That's like a 10-step process to land an Argo MPUV. So do this with friends. This is your friend's ship. So if you're going to solo something, solo with the Polaris, but save this for org night, save this for 3, 4, 5 people. Like John Crew said, it takes 12 people to man all the weapon systems. So this is your org ship. All right. I think those are my initial reactions. I think I had a couple of questions, right? So like I solved like how to handle the hangar entrances, which we just discussed, how to handle the Argo MPUV load and unload, which we just discussed. You heard about the PDCs, right? You heard about the point defense turrets and what that looks like. Okay, when you buy the Idris, it comes with 6, and you have 5 available slots. When you get the Idris K kit, it has the other 5. So it's the M2C Swarm PDCs. And you can put all 11. I think it's 6 plus 5, all 11. But if you're like me and you have both kits, you've got the Idris K kit and the Idris T kit, you get an additional 5 PDCs, but they're the missile ones. You heard that on the video. They're the missile version of the PDCs. The problem that I have right now is when you go into your F1 menu and you look at your ship's configuration, it just says PDC 1 through 11. It doesn't tell or show you which one you're changing out. So if I put those 5 turrets, versions of the PDCs, like 1 through 5, if those are all on the starboard side of my Idris, that's kind of a waste, right? Only the right side of my ship is going to get the additional missiles. So I'm wanting to strategically place them in 5 locations around the Idris to get like the biggest bang for my buck. And right now you can't do that. Like the interface is not good. So if you have 16, if you have 16 PDCs and you want to know what to do with each one, it gets a little confusing. But then, okay, I also understand like first world problems. Not everybody's going to have 16 PDCs to deal with. So I'll figure that out. I will share it with you, but that's kind of my outstanding question. And then there's like a role-playing game loop question of like, okay, this has a brig. This has a prison cell. So when there's bounty hunting and you're moving prisoners, like what does that route look like? So you can dock to one of the docking collars. You can go into the hangar, sure. But every route to the prison cell takes you by like critical components. Like you're going by turrets, you're going by the engine room, you're going by like all of these very sensitive areas that if that prisoner breaks free, they have immediate access to do a lot of damage, to really do a lot of damage. So I'm trying to like role play and figure out the layout and like how to handle the bounty hunting game loop. So, okay, initial reactions aside, I would love to hear your reactions. Let's go through the command page, the landing page. It says at your command. Here's a beautiful commercial here. I'm going to play it for you here in a second after we get through. It's what we're actually going to end on. But pictures, there's infographics, which obviously I always love. Tells you the different type of turrets, the size 7s and the size 5s and the PDCs and blah, blah, blah. So everything. Your hangar has 1024 SCU of cargo ability. It also has another cargo bay that you can put cargo up in the elevator and send it up. That's 302 SCUs. So it's a pretty formidable box carrier. And then it has like this weird additional cargo room at the bow of the ship. And it's like 48 SCU. But like, how do you get the boxes up there? Like I couldn't find like an elevator. I couldn't find like how, other than walking it up, I'm not exactly sure how you would get those big boxes in that additional cargo room. So maybe something else I need to search through. There's 6 paints, factory standard yellow and blue. And you've got the shark tooth, the command camo. It's pretty sexy. The Beachhead, the Marauder. Shout out to Marauder in our organization. The Marauder came with the Idris K kit. And then you got the Idris T kit, my personal favorite, the Nightbreak. So Nightbreak is black and red, shocker. But it changes the tint to your to all your glass. So the man turrets now have red glass, and your main cockpit has red glass around the cockpit. That's why I love it so much. Looks phenomenal. just like the Carrick Best in Show paint, or the Best in Show paint for 2952, how it changes all the glass to red. So pretty cool. Here's your Idris K kit. Here's your Idris T kit. Very expensive upgrades. It gives you the times for your chance to get the Idris. But here's the expensive piece. The Warbond K kit is $250. The Warbond T kit is $350. And then you've got, it doesn't actually show me the non-Warbond. Interesting. So Warbond T kit is $350, but the non-Warbond is like $420. Oh, it's right here. Sorry, guys. Credit offers. Here we go. The Idris K kit $300. The Idris T kit $420. So there you go. Here's your paint packs, and we are done with the Idris. What are your thoughts? If you've had the chance to go through the Idris experience, if you've been able to fly your own, are you happy with the product that's been released? I am, more than I was expecting. So I'm very, 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 very happy. Last but not least, the Idris ship naming. Oh, I just exited out of that. I was wanting to show you all the commercial. But the Idris ship naming, it's coming. Now, maybe another like contentious or debatable topic. Where has ship naming been up to this point? Like, you've got your typical like 6 or 7 that can be named. And then nothing else after that. You can't name your Polaris, can't name the larger new ships. But here's the Idris, and they're like, hey, we'll let you name your ship. So where was this, and what's the future of ship naming? Kind of lots of questions here, but here we go. There's waves. So what they're doing is, depending on the year that you pledged, so like all the way back in 2012. So if you are a 2012 pledger, you get the first wave of naming your Idris. So May 27th through 29th, you've got 2 days, starting in, 9 days. How's that work? How's math work? 11 days? So in 11 days, you'll be able to name your Idris. And then it just goes from there. So if you're a 2013 pledge, it's May 30th. 2014, 15, and 16 are June 2nd. 2017, 18, 19, and 20, June 5th. 2021, 22, 23, 24, which is where I'm at, June 8th. And then anything beyond that, 2025 pledges and beyond, wave 6, which is June 11th. What are you going to name your ship? Tell me in the comment section. I want to know ship names. I have 20 to choose from. I have like a top list of 20 ready to go. I've been doing it for 2 years now, like ready to roll. So if my first 4 or 5 don't work, I'm okay with the last ones. And only one of you knows my list. And you know who you are. What are you going to name your ship? I really want to know. Okay, guys, here we go. It's lore time. The Invictus Launch Week Lore Series, Episode 3, Naval Base Invictus on Mars. The dust of the Tavaran War had barely settled, but already a new vision of power was taking shape, not in the halls of government, but in the shipyards of Mars. Welcome, traveler, to the Beyond the Verse. In this 3rd chapter of our Invictus Launch Week lore series, we turn our eyes towards Sol, to Mars, where the heart of humanity's military might began to beat louder than ever before. This is the story of Naval Base Invictus. Following the end of the First Tavaran War in 2546, the United Planets of Earth stood at a crossroad. Its tribunal leadership had faltered in the face of war. The people craved stability, order, a figure they could trust to lead them through the uncertain stars. That figure was Ivar Messer, the UPE's most celebrated military commander. But Messer knew that military power wasn't enough on its own. It had to be seen, felt. And so construction began on Naval Base Invictus, a massive military installation located on Mars, the 4th planet in the Sol system. More than a base, it was a symbol, a monument to human perseverance, a rallying point for recruitment, training, and fleet deployment. Here, new recruits would take their oaths, new warships would be christened, and once a year, the base would open its gates to the public in a grand display of military might, a tradition designed to inspire the next generation of pilots, soldiers, and citizens. That event would come to be known as Invictus Launch Week. But beneath the surface of the celebration, something darker stirred. For while the people cheered the returning heroes, Messer's ambition reached further than public adoration. The war had made him a legend. Now he sought something greater: control. And in 2546, with the people at his back and the tribunal in disarray, Ivar Messer made his move. He would stand before the UPE not as a soldier, but as prime citizen, declaring an end to the tribunal and the birth of a new regime. Next week, we will witness the rise of the empire itself and the man who would crown himself Imperator. The gates of Invictus had opened, but not all who marched through them did so in service of freedom. There you go. Until next week. We have 2 more of these. I have written 5, so we got a 4th installment, and then we have a 5th installment. So stand by for that. Looking forward to getting that in your hands, in your ears. Is that appropriate? In the next couple of weeks. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. Again, go to my website, beyondtheversehq.com. Click on that link at the very top so you can let us know if you are interested in doing the CitizenCon Direct watch party in Austin, Texas. Please do that. Our philanthropy for Extra Life is still ongoing. beyondtheversehq.com/give. That'll take you right to Extra Life. We're raising money for kids and children's hospitals. If you want to become part of the conversation, you can do so at emailing us at contact@beyondtheversehq.com. Respond to the polls on Spotify. Do a comment in the Spotify comment section. Let us know your thoughts, opinions, feelings, outbursts, anything else, and we will read them. Sometimes to our detriment. Guys, I hope this finds everybody well. Safe travels as you traverse beyond the verse. Take care, everybody.